Welcome to the Hold My Spot podcast. Ethan here, and not Matt. Actually have my wife, Megan, here. That's right. I had to create a podcast to get my wife to actually talk to me. And now here we are.
Hi.
So yes, Megan, say hi to our multitudes of fans. They're saying there may be dozens out there.
I bet.
Maybe.
Hello. Hi.
Where are we just coming from? Who did we just see?
Trousdale.
Yes, we just saw Trousdale, a pop group, a trio, female vocalist, a great group. And opening for them was Vaus.
Vaus,
The way it was spelled, I would think it was Vaus. And it was an awesome show. We saw them at the Arc in Ann Arbor. We're recording this right now outside of my in-laws' house. Hopefully they're okay with their son-in-law being a podcaster. I don't know how they, I don't even know if we've even brought it up.
No.
I don't really push the topic. Your mom's not on Instagram yet, so
No.
one day she'll stumble upon it.
But I grew up in Michigan. I grew up in the Ann Arbor area, so I've been to the Arc venue a few times before. So it was fun to bring Ethan along.
Yeah, it's a really unique venue. I haven't been at any venue like this. It was entirely seated, and it's basically right on campus, or like right in the downtown Ann Arbor area, which is adorable, by the way. Perfect college town atmosphere. But yeah, it's all seated. There's events there like every night. We were looking at the calendar. It's everything from acts like Trousdale, who have almost 700,000 monthly listeners right now on Spotify, to cover bands, local groups, a lot of acoustic and folksy sets. It's like just a very intimate environment. The acoustics are great. Everything sounded so awesome tonight. Everything was so clear. Probably about 200 people in there. Just,
If that, it might even be less. Ish.
Yeah, just a really cool venue.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But both acts were incredible. Anna was the opening act. I knew nothing about her going to it. I did know Trousdale. I do listen to their music, so I did know of them going into the concert, but Anna I had never heard anything of before, and she was so good. She had a really good stage presence, I felt. And I felt like she had a lot of good stories, like a lot of good lead-ups to her songs. And she did a lot of great covers too. She did one of her original songs, and then halfway through she kind of led into Landslide, which was incredible.
Yeah.
I got chills. Like I could have cried. Like, it was so good. It was so beautiful.
Yeah. She was a real pro. She moved from San Diego to Nashville when she was 17, like right after graduating high school. And I'm not sure when that happened, but she's still pretty young, clearly in the rise. And she said she toured with Willie Nelson at some point. She's been touring with Trousdale. Yeah, the incredible stage presence, these hilarious anecdotes. She was really composed on stage.
Yeah.
And it was just her and her acoustic guitar, and she had a supporting guitarist who was just laying down chords and doing some good rhythm work.
Yeah, he did like some beat thing with like his foot.
Yeah, it was like some pedal.
But it sounded really good.
It was fantastic. Yeah. They were able to create a lot of movement, a lot of variety, like a sonic variety with just two people, two instruments, and that pedal. It was a really impressive set. And
it was.
Like you said, we didn't have any expectations. And when we were at the, what's it called, the Pretzel Bell, down the street before the show, watching like the last of a 4 p.m. NFL game. It was actually the Taylor Swift game.
It's the Taylor Swift game.
For anyone who cares about
For
that.
all of my Swifties out there.
That's a niche topic. I don't want to get into niche topics on the show. Let's go back to Anna Vaus. It was a big win for Megan, though, who was rooting for the Kansas City Taylor Swifts.
Yep.
So, and we were thinking like, well, when should we head over? Is it important that we see the opener? It's like, well, it's not that either of us knew who the opener was.
No.
But there's something fun about going to see an opener neither of us knew. And you just go in with an open mind. You're like, am I going to love this? Am I going to hate this? Am I going to be neutral to it? And we both really liked it.
By the way, I was rolling my eyes because I felt like he was about to tease me. Because I was like,
I didn't do it.
we could. It's okay if we missed the opening act, but I'm really glad that we
Notice
didn't.
how I didn't say who said it. I was actually, I was leaving you
It was me.
on a. I was trying to save you by keeping your identity anonymous.
Thanks.
But she
I just had to explain my behavior.
She convicted herself.
Yeah. Either way, it was really good. I was really, really pleasantly surprised. And I felt like Trousdale did, like, they sounded just as good live as they do, like, on recording.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a step back and talk a little bit about our like, this is there's a reason why, like, we live in the Cleveland area, and there's a reason why we're seeing Trousdale in Michigan. Not just because nothing against our in-laws, but it wasn't that, well, my in-laws, her parents, we visit them often, but we were primarily here to see them. We were willing to travel out of our way.
See them, meaning see Trousdale.
See Trousdale.
Yeah.
We found Trousdale via like a Discover Weekly playlist on Spotify back like early in the pandemic. I want to say January of 2021. So I guess, you know, roughly like a year into it, and I heard the song Wouldn't Come Back, which has gone on to become their most popular song, their most listened to song on Spotify.
If you do nothing, listen to that song.
It's amazing. And Megan and I don't always agree on music, and that's okay. Everyone, like, taste is taste and preferences are preferences. But that was one where we talk about first listen likes, you know, that sensation when a song grabs you on the first go. And everyone's probably had like the opposite, where maybe a song doesn't grab you, you don't fathom until like the fifth listen. That one got us both.
Yeah.
Do you remember like any memory of when we first heard that?
No, I just remember when you played it, I immediately was like, add it to my playlist. He shares a lot of music with me, and a lot of the stuff he plays for me is not always my go-to. But this one was an instant hit, and ever since then, anytime we call them the girls, anytime the girls come out with a new song or a new album, he lets me know, because he's following them on Spotify. I don't have Spotify, so but I follow them on Instagram, and now we kind of chit chat about their stuff whenever
the girls. Yeah, you're right. I say the girls put out a new song.
Our girls put out a new album.
Our girls, they got the album finally out.
Yep.
Our girls are going to be in Ann Arbor.
I know.
Yeah, that is funny. Like, in our household, we know exactly what that means, because it's been pretty cool to like get to share like a group that's on the rise like this. That when we first listened to that song, they had, give or take, maybe 70,000 monthly listeners, and that might be generous as of January 2021, and then as of October 2023, almost 700,000 monthly listeners. It's been so cool to see how active they've been touring, how active they are on social media. They're just crushing it and putting out incredible new songs seemingly like every week.
Yeah. And it's fun to hear, like, seeing them live too, put like their voices to their face too. Yeah. And now I can like hear it more, like which one is singing which part.
Yeah. I totally agree. So like, the set was very much focused on the songs on the new album. So songs that have been released within the last 9 to 10 months. And I had the same thought, because I never really was sure who was doing what. But now it's clear where like each of their ranges are. Then now I can, when I'm listening to it in the future, I can envision it again. Like the girls, we should put some names to this. Yeah. There's Lauren. Yes. And then Georgia.
And then Quinn.
And then Quinn. And then quiz you, what's the associated colors?
Oh, Lauren is blue, Georgia is pink, and Quinn is green.
Which makes them look like the
Powerpuff Girls. Which immediately I noticed, but you could tell when like they brought it up, like during their set, because they asked like, does anyone in the crowd have questions? And someone asked, how did you guys pick your colors? And it seems like it was at random. If they ever do a Q&A, like, listen to their story, it's really cute. But they said something about Powerpuff Girls, and the crowd was like, oh yeah, and like, it's just funny, because that I already like automatically thought that when I first saw the colors, but that really shows my age.
I personally did not immediately recognize it. I had to verify with Megan whether or not it was the Powerpuff Girls or the Powder Puff Girls. That lets you know where my knowledge on the topic is.
Yeah.
But I love that they have that color theme. It's like the way they branded themselves. It's really smart, and it's like it's gonna make the memories like more sticky. Like I'll remember like who had which parts because of like that color consistency. It's really, that was really smart on their part.
Yeah. Oops, sorry.
But yeah, the set. Gosh, so it was the three of them, and then they had a drummer, and they had electric guitarist, and
Quinn was on the keys. Lauren was
acoustic guitar,
and then Georgia did some of the tambourine and stuff.
Yeah, and most of the songs, like, especially most of the songs required the full band, which was a pretty stark contrast to the opener. Whereas you mentioned before, it was very, it was light in terms of instrumentation. So that was kind of a nice touch too. I like that when there's like a sonic contrast between the opener and the headlining band, and we definitely got that. And if you know about Trousdale, you know like they have like this great mix of upbeat, funky songs. And
You mean bluesy?
we have this faux debate over a certain song of theirs, whether it sounds funky.
It just
or
sounded
bluesy.
funky.
And I'm like, it's bluesy. We'll never know, unless we get some funk heads
But
on here.
for their set list, I felt like they did a really good job of like weaving in their new stuff with also, to me, some of their classics or like songs that I really love, like Any Day Now and This Is It. And they almost didn't play Wouldn't Come Back, but they left that as the encore. And I was like, if they don't come back for Wouldn't Come Back, I'm gonna be sad. And then, well, as we were walking out, I was like, wow, that's really poetic. I wouldn't come back if they didn't play Wouldn't Come Back, you know?
I was nearly devastated.
I know. We were both like, they can't do this to us.
Like, we had talked about this earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And Megan had asked me, they'll play Wouldn't Come Back. Or I'm like, yeah, of course they're going to play their most popular song. But then they said we got one more song and it was off the new album. And then I thought maybe they just really want to dedicate this set to the new album, because I noticed they left out a couple other ones from 2021. I was like, maybe this is a strategic choice. And then they got off stage and there was a moment there where they got me.
Yeah, I know.
They got it, which that was kind of fun too.
Probably
because there's been shows I've gone to where I've read the set list beforehand, and I kind of don't know why I do that.
I don't know.
Because that was so much fun to just have that shred of doubt. For a wrestling fan like me, an absolute wrestling nerd, it's like the equivalent of what's called a near fall, where you think the match is going to be over. You count 1, 2, and then you're certain they're going to hit 3, but then they kick out. That's what they got with us.
Well,
encore.
And it's nice to get an encore because the last concert I went to was the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, and she doesn't do an encore, so it's fun to have, like, to me, an encore is not a given. It's not always a given, so
yeah,
it's fun to like have that question in your mind if you're gonna get it or not. I feel like for quote unquote smaller acts, it's more likely, but yeah, makes it fun.
Yeah, I love there's a lot of just like fan service. Like they're really kind, I feel like, to their fans. There was this really cool moment where for the song Movie Star, they asked if anybody wanted to come up and sit on the stage
so
to
they
be
could
sung
sing
to
her
like they could
or them.
Sung to like they're a movie star.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, like that
was cute.
I would never consider going up for something like that.
No.
I was really like, whoa, impressive for the people that were raising their hands.
Yeah.
And one girl did, who I think her story was that she had some friends that were gonna go with her to the show. They ditched out, which if you're a regular concert goer like I am or Matt is, that stuff happens. You know, people get cold feet about concerts.
Her name was Lucy. She was so cute and so nice.
Yeah.
But it was fun. She got to sit up there and kind of sing along to the group, and it was really sweet. And I feel like out of the set list, that was probably one of the songs that, for me, it like has a new life after seeing it live.
Yes.
Like, I know the song, I like the song, I have the song on my playlist, but I feel like I love it even more now after seeing it live.
Agreed. I had the same thought where when that single came out, I thought this is good, but it wasn't a standout for me. But now we have that really wholesome memory associated with it.
But even if they didn't do that, I felt like it sounded so good.
The harmonies in that one stood out to me as those were, and that's when I said when we walked out, those were angelic harmonies sometimes. Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
That's honestly the way to describe Trousdale, if you've never heard of them. It's just they have angelic harmonies throughout their entire songs. Like every single one of their songs is just a combination of harmonies, and it's really beautiful.
Yeah, you may have heard me when that song was going, like the first 10 seconds I was like, whoa. Yeah, because like the harmonies were just they were pitch perfect.
Yeah,
they were just absolutely
they're
crushing
on point.
And this was on like the 5th show in 5 days or something.
The 4th show in 5 days.
4th show in 5 days, and they sing so much.
Yeah,
their songs are pretty verbose. They're lyrically dense.
But I also have to say that to do harmonies that much, I would imagine that's kind of hard to do, especially between 3 people and making sure you're on time. And
oh yeah,
like I don't know, I just feel like that's really impressive.
Everything they do to me is incredibly impressive, not to mention that a couple of them are playing instruments while doing that as well, while creating these incredible sounds and staying so in pitch with each other. And
I felt like Georgia did a really good job with stage presence, because she didn't necessarily always have like an instrument to play.
Yeah.
So I feel like she did a really good job.
Yeah,
like,
she definitely like brings
using her hands and moving around a bit. Like I felt like she did a really good job with it.
Yeah, she creates a lot of movement. She's by far like the most outgoing one. Like she seems like she's happy to like soak that up and like bring the energy, and like they do like a lot of fun banter in between each songs.
Yeah.
It was kind of different than Anna, who clearly like she had refined certain stories.
Yeah.
Like she
in a good way, like
nailed them.
Yeah,
like
almost like a comedy set.
Yeah,
like it felt
exactly.
like but it didn't feel like over rehearsed. Like it felt like it was very
organic.
Organic.
Yeah. Whereas Trousdale, their whole thing
they're
was
just having fun.
They're like, let us bring you into our dynamic,
our world,
and feel what it's like to be in Trousdale for a second. Which I love that too.
Yeah,
it's another just great contrast between opener and headliner that makes things fun. Especially when you got 2 different ways to like keep the crowd really engaged, which they all did. What other moments stood out? It's like just like really memorable that are gonna stick with you.
I don't know. I feel like just overall it was a really great night. I feel like everything met my expectations, if not exceeded them.
Yeah.
I felt great coming out after it. Yeah, I had a really good time.
Yeah.
I had a great time with you.
Wow. I had to make a podcast from a way to go to concerts with me, go on dates with me.
Yeah.
But success. But I agree. It was a really good night. I'm feeling right now, just gut feel, it's one of my favorite concerts I've ever been to. And
you've been to the Eras Tour, so that's saying a lot.
Yeah, that is. It's saying quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic show. Another great concert in the books. I hope you enjoyed hearing our thoughts on it. If you did, come on back for the next one. We'll make sure to hold a spot for you.
And next time you'll get to see Matt instead of me, so.
Yeah, it's downhill from here. All right. We'll see you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.